A one-page business plan starts with clarity. You don't need dozens of slides, just one page that forces hard thinking.
The goal isn't perfection, it's focus. One page makes every assumption visible and testable.
Start with the problem. Write it in one or two sharp sentences that describe real pain, not vague inconvenience.
If the problem feels boring or generic, customers won't care. Rewrite until it feels specific and urgent.
Next, define who has this problem. One clear customer segment beats 5 imaginary ones.
Don't say everyone. A one-page plan punishes fuzzy thinking and rewards precision.
Then describe your solution. Not features, but how life looks better after your product exists.
If it takes a paragraph to explain, it's too complex. One page demands simplicity. Now add your value proposition, why this solution is different, and why it matters now.
This sentence should feel uncomfortable. If it doesn't, you're probably being too safe.
Next comes revenue. Write exactly how money comes in, even if it's uncertain or ugly.
List your main costs. Only the big ones. Detail comes later. Discipline comes now. This is where reality hits. Many ideas break here, and that's a feature, not a failure.
Add key milestones. What must be true in 3, 6, and 12 months?
Milestones turn dreams into tests. They tell you when to continue or stop.
Finally, mark your biggest risk. The one assumption that kills everything if wrong.
Revisit it often. Update it as reality answers your assumptions.
When one page stays clear, execution gets simpler. That's how ideas start becoming businesses.
Once written, the plan reveals gaps. Confusion isn't failure, it's the signal that thinking has begun.
Many founders realize the problem isn't as sharp as they thought. This discomfort is part of the process.
Cutting words often hurts more than writing them. But clarity only appears after subtraction.
Doubt grows when you see others doing something similar. That comparison forces better questions.
You may discover your first customer isn't who you imagined. That realization saves months of wasted effort.
This is where many plans stall. One page exposes uncertainty you can't ignore.
The temptation is to add more detail. But detail doesn't fix unclear thinking.
Ideas evolve in ordinary moments, not just at desks. Capture questions as they surface.
Rewriting one sentence can change the entire direction of the plan. That's the power of constraints.
Progress feels subtle. The plan looks similar, but the thinking underneath has shifted.
Complicated revenue often hides weak assumptions. Simpler models are easier to test. Unrealistic timelines are easy to spot when they're forced onto one page.
Doubt doesn't mean stop. It means the plan is doing its job.
The same risk keeps appearing. That repetition is a clue worth respecting.
At this stage, talking to customers matters more than polishing the page.
The plan doesn't give answers. It tells you what to ask next.
Patterns begin to emerge. Confusion slowly turns into structure.
Struggle is not a sign of weakness. It's evidence of honest thinking.
After doubt and revision, the plan becomes lighter, clearer, and more usable.
Clarity begins when assumptions are named. What's written stops pretending to be true.
The page now feels calmer, not because answers exist, but because questions are clearer.
This is the shift. The plan moves from thinking to testing, from ideas to actions.
Good plans create motion. They push you outside toward real conversations.
Real words from real people reshape the page faster than opinions ever could.
Problem sharpens. Fewer words, more truth.
Confidence appears quietly, not excitement, but alignment between thought and reality.
The business starts to look like a system, not just an idea.
Letting go becomes easier. What doesn't serve the core gets removed.
Smaller steps feel less impressive, but they're far more achievable. The plan now points to one concrete action, not 10 imaginary futures. Evidence begins to collect. The page becomes a living record. Clarity doesn't mean certainty. It means knowing what matters right now.
Each conversation refines the plan without adding complexity.
The difference is subtle, but important. The newer page feels grounded.
The plan now travels with you, shaping decisions in small moments.
Action replaces overthinking. The page has done its work.
Planning ends when execution begins. One page is enough.
Clarity isn't loud. It's the quiet readiness to start.
Execution starts quietly. No announcements, just the next small action on the page.
The plan turns into messages, calls, and simple experiments that can actually fail.
Ideas are tested in motion, between real-life moments, not in perfect conditions.
Early feedback is rarely dramatic. It arrives as small signals that you have to notice.
Progress looks ordinary. That's how you know it's real.
The page evolves with each action, staying current instead of aspirational.
Pauses matter. Reflection keeps execution aligned.
Strategy emerges from patterns, not predictions.
Plan doesn't demand attention anymore. It supports it.
Daily routines become part of building, not distractions from it. Improvements appear casually when pressure is low.
Structure replaces chaos. The page becomes a reference, not a task.
Momentum feels steady, not rushed. That's the sign of a usable plan.
Numbers start to matter, even simple ones. They keep stories honest.
Killing weak ideas early saves energy for stronger ones.
Focus narrows. Distractions lose their appeal.
The page still fits in one hand, but it carries weeks of learning.
Execution teaches faster than planning ever could.
The one-page plan now lives inside daily work.
What mattered most often wasn't obvious at the start. Now, it's underlined. Distance helps reflection. Walking clarifies what work actually moved things forward. Some assumptions survived, many didn't. The page shows both, without judgment.
One action often matters more than 10 planned ones. The plan makes that visible.
Waiting time becomes thinking time. The page guides quiet decisions. Lessons turn into rules. Rules reduce future hesitation.
The business now looks cyclical, not linear. Learn, adjust, repeat.
Progress feels quieter than expected, but more durable.
The plan gets shorter, even while the business grows.
Time frames relax. Direction stays firm.
Numbers tell a calmer story now. They confirm effort instead of questioning it.
Some risks are finally resolved. Others remain, clearly named.
The plan is no longer fragile. It bends with reality.
One page now holds months of thinking and doing.
Lessons settle in quietly. There's less urgency, more intention.
The one-page plan graduates from tool to foundation.
Looking back changes perspective. What once felt fragile now feels deliberate.
Reflection replaces urgency. The page is no longer a question, but a reference.
Growth starts with contrast. What stays, what changes, and what gets left behind.
Long-term thinking feels slower, but it carries more weight.
Beneath tactics, one principle holds everything together. That's what scales.
Sharing becomes easier. One page tells the story without performance.
Alignment happens faster when complexity stays low.
Future is noted, not detailed. Space is left for learning.
Ambition feels steadier now. Less rushed, more patient.
Letting go remains a skill, even later on.
Pace becomes intentional. Speed is chosen, not forced.
Good plans end with questions, not answers.
The page no longer demands attention. It quietly supports judgment.
The tool rests until it's needed again.
Trust replaces constant checking. Direction is internal now.
New chapters begin with lighter baggage and clearer instincts.
One page taught how to think, not just what to write.
It's the real outcome. A business plan that trains judgment over time.